Hi guys, Wim Goose here. Welcome to the Guitar Show. This is Coffee Chat. We're going to discuss Flatwound Strings today. We're going to start off just by saying a big thanks to Henry Kaiser, who, if you don't know, he's an amazing guitar player, sort of leaning towards experimental avant-garde. And he invited me on to his podcast. I got to play with two incredible musicians, Andy West and Scott Amendola, who both are incredible musicians. And I'm going to put that link in this video here, so you can check that out, please. It would be amazing if you can check that out. And you know, Henry is a very different style of guitar player, and I was a big fan of his for many years. So for him to ask me to play on his podcast was incredible. So thank you very much, Henry. We're going to be talking about Flatwound. So got this kind of idea because I was speaking to my good friend Kirk Fletcher about these pickups, in particular these guide tone go fours, and we were just discussing how flat-wound strings just go really well with this kind of pickup. So, and don't be surprised if you see Kirk Fletcher with a guide tone in his Telecaster very soon. So let me know if you see that, because I think it's a really cool, you know, I can see a really cool direction that Kirk's going in. He's my favourite blues guitar player on the scene at the moment by far, so it's a real honour to be his friend, you know. Okay, so enough about that. Let's talk about flatwound strings. So why do I like flatwound strings? Well, I love Steve Ray Vaughan and I love Stratocasters, but you know what? When everybody and his granny is playing that style, you want to kind of, you know, that's the main sort of thing. You want to kind of come off maybe sometimes and do something else a little bit unique. Like Henry Kaiser, you know, you want to find your own voice, you want to be doing something else that's completely different. And I kind of found that with flatwound strings. Well, the funny thing is Jimmy Vaughan, Steve Ray Vaughan's brother, uses flatwound strings. And Jimmy Vaughan actually came up with this really cool idea of using EAD, flatwounds, and then GBE, your normal unwound strings, you know, plain strings. So that's kind of the route that I've taken on this guitar. This is a set of 11s, sort of jazz guitar 11s, but I've changed the G string to an unwound string. So it's like a Jimmy Vaughan thing. So if you're playing kind of that blues thing, so that kind of gives you a very vintage sort of T-Bone Walker style tone, because you know, it's very, very smooth. If you went to roll off the tone control, it's almost like a double bass, you know. It's kind of like that Wes Montgomery. Sort of West sort of sound, but as well you can kind of use it in other sort of interesting styles. You know, I'm going to put it here in the middle of these two pickups. Quite a percussive sort of sound, and we're going to explore that more when I play my Goosecaster in a moment. But another thing that it can do, there's this band, I can't remember the name, the Texas band trio, young band, guitar player, long hair, and playing a Strat with similar rail pickups, the female bass player and the drummer, and they kind of play psychedelic sort of stuff, instrumental of instrumental. I don't know if anyone sings, but check him out. Can't remember the name, but he uses Flatwounds, and I was watching a rig rundown with him, and he kind of like encapsulated the reason why Flatwounds are good, and it's just a different sound, and you can do a really fast run. You know, and sort of quirky lines that really don't mean anything, but they just kind of sound cool when you're working. You know, when you're working with Flatwound strings. So that's another thing I like about them. You can get these kind of jaggedy, sort of jaggedy lines. You know, and I don't mean, you know, kind of more, I guess, say if you were doing it African style as well. Let's go back to the gold foil pickup here. That sort of thing, you can actually play these kind of pull-offs and stuff faster than you can with round wounds because you've got less resistance on the string. So that's kind of like another really cool thing I really like about these flat ones. So again, if you want that kind of smooth, sort of jazzy blues, you know. Okay, let's go to another guitar. This time let's go to my 1965 guide tone. So this guitar here was used by Rykuda. I've often said this on an album called Mambo Sinuendo. But what I like about this guitar, I'll put flat wounds on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep flat wounds because I'm pretty sure that Rykuda used round wounds. But let me just play you this with flat wounds. We're on the neck pickup here. There's 4 pickups, but 2 of them are kind of 1, 2 of them are only half, and so there's only 3 pickups on this, really. Let's get some atmosphere, let's put some reverb up, and we'll put the tone up as well. Really, the Flatwound strings, when I'm and there's that kind of clank. You're going to hear it even more on my Goose caster, but there's a real clank to the sound with these flat wounds. And so this is quite a dark sort of sounding instrument anyway, and with the flat wounds you get this really dark sound. So it's very atmospheric. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the flat ones on here, but for now I'm really enjoying it, you know, for that kind of more chordal sort of spaghetti western sort of sound with the reverb up. Okay, so let's go to the slide guitar now. And like I said, I call this my goose caster, because it's basically a CUDA caster, but instead of using a Stratocaster as my donor guitar, I'm using a Telecaster. Now I've got another gold foil. So the story is that these two guitars, these 1960s Gaia-tone gold foils, are from the same donor guitar, which had two pickups obviously, and then I put the pickups in each of these guitars. So they sound pretty much the same. And what I do is I have both of these pickups on all the time, this one and this one. So that one's on and that one's. It just makes the guitar more resonant, I think, you know. But this is why I really like, what I really like about these sort of sounds with when you were sliding is, for example, the film Southern Comfort with Kuda. So put a load of reverb up. That kind of clank sort of sound when you tune, and again, you're not going to get that with round wounds. You know, you're going to get a probably a more open sound, and you're going to get this really beautiful sort of clank. I invented that word clank for describing guitar tones. So if you ever use the word clank, please tell them Goose wasn't on that. Told you about it. So you know, if you're, say for example, we're doing this tune, which is famous Kuda tune. Again, you've got that clank. I know originally it was played on an acoustic, a Martin D18, I think it was played on. But you know, playing it on the CUDA caster just gives that. You know, it's got that brilliant sound. So let me show you the percussiveness of this of these strings. So. Round rounds. That is a real percussive, amazing sound, which is gritty, it's clanky, they call that clank. And if I'm doing more of a kind of New Orleans-y gives us that real percussive thing that you're not going to get from round wounds. And so just to go over, you've got that beautiful, it's got no resistance, so it's just a very nice, but it gives you that 1950s vibe to it, you know, which you know, it's going to be a little bit different on a round wound string. So that's the reasons I love flat wound strings. Hopefully this has been a good video for you. One thing about them, they are more expensive, but you don't have to change them. Once they're on your guitar, you leave them on your guitar until they break. And it might be 5 years, you know. There's no reason to change a flat wound. Just clean them regularly with a towel, or not clean them. Don't clean them, because you know, bass players like James Jameson never cleaned his strings. That gave him a really smooth sort of sound. So, you know, they are expensive, but they're cheaper in the long run because they're going to have them on the guitar for years. They don't really get affected too much by dirt, and in fact they sound better. The more dirty they are, the better the sound. I don't know why, but so that's the advantage. And you can just change the top 3 strings, you know. So disadvantages, what are the disadvantages? Well, you can't, sometimes they're not as flexible under your fingers. They don't you can't bend them. If you want to bend that, on a round wound, it's going to be better, and obviously round wound's cheaper, and they're more sometimes they're more gritty, and maybe there's certain techniques you can do, like finger things. But what I like about the round wounds is, the flat wounds. You've got that kind of fast, strange sound, so it doesn't sound like you're whittling, it just sounds kind of quirky and cool. And so what I might suggest, guys, is maybe if you've got lots of guitars, which I'm sure you all have now. Back in the day we only had 1 or 2 guitars, but now we have lots. Why not dedicate one guitar? Could be a slide guitar, could be an electric. Why not put flat wounds on it and just try them out? Maybe you like it, maybe it'll move your playing in a different direction, away from Steve Ray Vaughan Texas Blues, for example. Doing the same thing all the time. So, maybe that's a thing that can bring inspiration in different sounds. Like I said, gold foils and flat wounds for me that's where it's at. Let me just tell you about my gear, because I never tell you about what gear I'm using, and I think I should. We've got the Victoria Reverberomo. We've got a Mystic Blues amp here, which is a 50 watt. And this was originally owned by my good friend Dave Gillan, who's a wonderful singer and guitar player from up in Scotland. And he actually had a guitar show many years ago, and a young Matt Schofield played it and said it sounds like Robin Ford in a box. And when I first received this amplifier many years ago, I kind of heard that Robin Ford thing, so I got Tommy Cougar, who's the designer of this amp, to redo the circuit for me. Something more like Rycuda, something a bit more gritty, a bit more sort of just grittier sound. So it's no longer Robin Ford, but it's a fantastic amp. Altec Lansing speaker, my trusty old Altec Lansing speaker. Of course, this guitar, and on the pedal board here, I'm going to show you the pedal board, which I don't tend to do, but let's have a look here. You're going to have to look at this upside down, or can we turn it around? We can. We've got the black box Quicksilver delay, which is my favourite delay in the world, apart from the Crucial Audio Echo Nugget, which is over there, which is going to be coming back here next week. We're using a Klon pedal. It's a Klon clone worth £10. It literally costs £10, this pedal. You can get it on eBay. I've done a video on it, so check it out. This is a Crucial Audio Tone Nugget pedal, which is, as you can see, it's on. This is an always-on pedal, except when I'm using a delay, because for some reason these aren't working well together. But this is incredible. If you don't want to go to distortion, you just want a bit extra of something. It's got a tube inside this. It just gives you this incredible warm, gritty boost sound, but it's still clean, so it sounds amazing. And we've got an Thorpe Effects fuzz pedal, which is like a fuzz face clone. Okay, and they're all running off the Zoom out power supply. So that's basically my rig, guys. Pretty simple. Keep it simple. Get some flat wounds, get some gold foils, and you're going to be good to go. And leave me some comments. Guys, stay safe, and hope to see you real soon. Check out the Henry Kaiser podcast link, which is in this description. Please check that out. Henry Kaiser is an amazing guy. Check him out as well. And all I've got left to say is cheers and God bless. Take care.